Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Gizmo Joe. We are looking at a projector today, a very cheap one and probably not a very good one, but we'll find out. Basically this is the Blaupunkt. Pretty sure you can get this brand from Aldi. I did not buy this projector at Aldi. This projector was actually given to me by a friend. If you watch my videos, you know that I recently moved into a new house, which explains my absence of videos for a while. I was moving and we're doing some DIY stuff in the house. So it's just taking up a lot of my time. I haven't been able to make any videos. But we've got a backyard. My old place, I didn't have a backyard before. So one of the things I always said was if I had a backyard, what I wanted to do was have movie nights, get a projector, sit outside, have a little fire going, something like that. Now, I don't want to sit outside every day and watch movies, so I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on my projector. I don't even have a projector screen. I just hang up a white sheet and that suffices. It's just more about the vibe, right? Getting outside, having a couple drinks, maybe, cooking on the barbecue and having a movie on, whatever. So I wanted something relatively cheap. So a buddy of mine was like, hey, my parents bought this projector and it's literally just sitting in their garage. Do you want it? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. Bring it over. So he brought it over. Things in great shape. He was like, I don't think they ever even used it. I was like, awesome. That's great. So like I said before, it's a Blaupunkt. Now, from what I understand, this is a brand that used to make kind of car audio equipment. Again, never heard of them. I grew up in America. Obviously, I moved to Australia, a few years back. But, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the brand. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody in the comments want to enlighten us, let me know. But you can find a lot of their stuff, at least in Australia, at Aldi. Costco, I know, carries some of their stuff. So, obviously, I guess they're fairly well-known or vetted brands, I guess. They're probably junk, but, whatever. Anyway, this guy, like I said, for the low price of free, I was like, yeah, definitely give it to me. And as you can see, it's pretty small. It's pretty tiny. Like my hands, are not giant. And, it's very portable, very easy to carry. Obviously, you've got your lens there. I'll just quickly show you. You've got your exhaust for your fans and stuff. Over here on the left-hand side is your HDMI port. So if you want to connect your computer or a Chromecast or something to this guy, easy peasy. Just plug it in, and then with the remote, which I'll show you in a second, which is very basic, you just press the source button until you hit the HDMI. This is the power button, so you pop that on once it's got some power to it, and that turns the projector on. There's a USB port here, so you can take a USB and load it with video files and just plug it straight in. So if you're outside, so this is basically what I've been doing, because I've only been playing movies instead of streaming stuff, but I guess I could. But I've been loading up some just movie files or whatever on the USB, plugging it into the side, and then just playing it straight through the projector. There's a couple problems with that, which I'll talk about in a second. But if we flick it over to the back, what you'll see is, again, some more exhaust. But then here, you've basically got a headphone jack, so you can plug in speakers. And then this is an AV out. So you can actually, if you have a 3.5 mil thing to the yellow, red, white component cable things, you could actually do that as well. So if you've got I guess a VCR would do that. I'm not even really sure why you would need this, but it's nice that they include it. I should mention that, yeah, you can plug in external speakers or headphones with this particular jack, just a regular 3.5 mil jack. But this guy does have built-in speakers. They're not fantastic, but they're okay. You could definitely watch something. I personally wouldn't want to watch a movie or anything with the tinny speakers that are on the inside. But, if that doesn't bother you, or you're not planning on, having volume or whatever, you're just having something on in the background, then yeah, you don't need to plug in speakers. This guy does have sound built into it, which is a nice little touch. And then over on the other side here, this is just your power port. It's just a standard figure 8 sort of, or whatever plug, so you can just grab any one that you have. It will be fine. But yeah, so that's basically the projector in a nutshell. What I'll do is I will hook it up and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm just going to blast it up on one of the walls in my house. I'm not going to bother like setting it up outside like I normally do because I don't have the sheet up or anything like that. But I'll show you how it works. But before I do that, I just want to mention again the inputs. So like I said, you can have an HDMI here. You can plug in a Chromecast, a Fire Stick, whatever you want, and then access stuff that way. And what you would do is when you turn the projector on with the power button, or you can remotely turn it on, you just go to source. So you hit that source button until you hit HDMI, and you click OK, and you're ready to go. You want to go back, you hit back, or you go to the home. There's obviously your built-in volume controls. You can mute, you can go up, you can go down. Now, if you are like me so far, all I've done is just kind of like load up some movies or whatever on a little USB, plug it into the side here, right? So when that happens, when you turn it on, basically, again, you're going to hit source until you hit that storage device. You're going to hit OK, and then that's going to come up with a very rudimentary menu that whatever, I mean, this thing is not running a very fancy operating system. It does look very jank, but it's pretty simple to navigate to whatever file you want. You hit OK, and it will play. So that's handy. So I don't have to like have, like a Chromecast, and then I got to worry about how to power the Chromecast and all that sort of stuff. So just having something on the local USB is a nice touch. I will say that this remote is incredibly frustrating. The last time I was using it, I was actually sitting sort of to the side of the projector. So if you can imagine, like where the camera lens is right now, I was sitting like this. So this is how if I looked at the projector, that I was looking at its side, and I was kind of aiming it like this, trying to work it, and I was like, what the heck is going on? I could not get this thing to work. I thought my batteries were dead. I swapped the batteries out. Still, I'm like, this thing's busted. It sucks. There's no controls on the device itself, which I think is a bit of an oversight. Like if I lose this remote or whatever, you can't use this thing. Anyway, what I found out was that I had to basically like angle the remote to the front of the device in order to get it to register. Again, kind of jank, but once I figured that out, I was able to kind of navigate through the menus, but sort of annoying. Like, I mean, what sort of technology is this? I would imagine it's an IR receiver. Like, where is the thing? I guess it must be on the front somewhere. I think actually it's probably right there. I think that's what that is. I'm not sure. Like I said, this thing was used. I didn't get it with the box or anything, so not 100% sure. But yeah, it just was kind of silly. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, how is this not? Why is this not doing anything? So that was a bit frustrating. Like I said before, not having controls on the device itself obviously is probably a cost-saving measure, because you'd have to make it with tactile controls and all that sort of stuff. And I get why they didn't do it, but for me, I would much rather have the controls on the device itself, so I didn't have to rely on the remote. Now, obviously, you've got your, I believe when it's a projector, they call it the keystone and focus or whatever. The keystone kind of like angles or tilts the picture kind of up and down or whatever, and then obviously you can manually focus. You just got to use your thumb on these like little guys, almost like a manual camera or something like that. Obviously more expensive projectors, they have buttons where you can manipulate it or whatever. This guy, old school, just got to mess around with it. But yeah, anyway, so that's pretty much it. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Like I said, I've used it a couple times. The picture quality isn't great, because if we flick it over, you'll notice it's only a 720p projector. But like I said, for my purposes, I don't want anything crazy expensive. It's just really for fun. It's more the novelty of being able to sit outside and watch a movie sort of like on a quote-unquote big screen. This isn't, an audio file, cinephile setup here. If I'm going to seriously watch a movie, I'm definitely going to go sit at one of my 4K TVs and watch it with, surround sound and all that sort of stuff. But for the novelty of it, sitting out in the backyard, just having it going, especially I don't have kids, but I've got a lot of neighbors who are small kids, around, having their parents over and just having, something on, Toy Story or whatever, that keeps them entertained, and then, mom and dad can have a drink or whatever, So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this so far. Like I said, though, stick around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this guy up. I'm going to blast him up on one of the white walls in one of the rooms of my house, and I will show you or demonstrate what it sort of looks like. Anyway, stay tuned. Okay, so I've got the projector just set up and throwing up on a wall in my house. I apologize for the grainy footage. Obviously, I've shut all the lights off and everything, so you know, it's obviously not looking great, but I wanted to show you sort of the lumens or whatever, how bright this thing got. But basically, I just wanted to show you a couple things. So you can see I've got it set up on a projector just here. It's pretty small. I've got a tape measure on the floor. So this is about 2 meters away from this wall, or 6.5 feet if you're watching this somewhere like America that doesn't use a common sense system of measurement like the metric system. But yeah, about 6.5 feet, 2 meters-ish away from the wall. I've got a spare TV in this. This is kind of like a junk room. It's just a holding place for random stuff while we're moving. But this TV here is 47 inches across. So you can see about 6.5 feet back, you're getting a pretty decent size image. Like I said before, this is sort of the janky, menu. It reminds me of sort of like those old school, if you remember the Android TV boxes that people used to get, it kind of looks like that. Anyway, I've got my trusty remote. I've got to point it directly at the front of this, but you can see the remote. Just kind of highlights these different bits. We can select HDMI. I don't have the HDMI set up right now. All I've got is just the little USB plugged into it. So I'm going to choose video, if it lets me. Maybe not. Come on. Get my hand stuck in the... Let's try something different. I forget how to use this thing. Source? Yeah, so here we go. So media is the USB. I had this was a problem I had the other day. I was like, how do I get into so obviously this is the setting. You can change sort of the picture mode and the color temperature and all that sort of stuff. That's all fine. I don't have any problems with that. Obviously, you can choose whatever you want for your own preferences. What's going on here? I wanted to show you. Come on. Having some technical difficulties. I mean, this really makes you want to buy this thing, don't you? All right, I'm not sure what is going on here. Let me hit menu. No, let me go. Well, it's not AV, it's not HDMI, it's media. So why can't I see anything? Having a bit of a hard time at the moment, guys. I apologize. Okay, so I finally figured it out. Basically, this thing is a little finicky. All I did to essentially alleviate or to fix this problem that I was having was unplug the USB and then plug it back in. So, the old reset the router trick. But anyway, this is, like I said before, I've just got a little USB plugged into the side of this thing, and I'm going to select it. And basically, I've got folders. You got your little file system here. Obviously, like I said, it looks all super janky, looks old. Now, I've got one file on here. It's just an MP4. It's Big Buck Bunny. So, it gives you a little preview here. It's in 1080. Like I said, this is a 720 projector. But let's just put it up onto the big screen and see what it looks like. I'm going to try to, here we go. Just refocus this, so just bear with me for a sec. So as you can see, this is 1080. I'm going to shut up so you can actually hear the speakers because they are on right now. These are just the internal speakers of the projector itself. I'm just going to mute this. I'll let it keep playing so that you can see the video quality. And I apologize for the shaky camera. I am holding the phone just by hand here because my trusty tripod is got the projector on it. But look, in my opinion, this projector is fine. Is it going to blow anybody away? Of course not. But it looks pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, depending on what your source is, obviously, like I said, this is a 1080 MP4 file. You know, it's only 720 in resolution, but I think it looks pretty good even when it's blown up. I couldn't tell you what the size of the screen is. I should have measured it, but like I said before, below it is a 47 or 48 inch screen. So it's obviously pretty big. Like I said, you put this thing outside, you put a sheet up or whatever, kids are gonna love it, or even just on a blank wall that you've got in a bedroom somewhere. It works really well. You know, the fan noise is pretty minimal. I don't know if you guys can hear it at all. Shut up. You can definitely hear it, but it's not terrible. And when you've got the sound on, you know, to be honest with you, you can't really hear it at all. Obviously, being outside would be better as opposed to being inside. That fan noise would probably, you know, definitely in quiet parts of a film or a TV show or whatever, you definitely notice it. But, you know, if you're using this thing outside, it's fine. So like I said, you know, in my opinion, I'll just push in a little bit here. You know, the video quality starts to, you can definitely tell it's not fantastic, but it definitely does the job. You know, if you're looking for a really cheap budget projector, like I said, I'm not sure if Aldi sells this particular model anymore, but, you know, I'm pretty happy with it. It serves my purposes really well. And yeah, you know, take it for what you will. You know, I didn't pay anything for it. I want to say maybe this thing retails for probably under 200 bucks. And I mean, you know, projectors can run you thousands. And, you know, for something that's a bit of a novelty, just a bit of fun, I'm not looking on spending a lot of money. I don't know about you. But anyway, hopefully you found this video somewhat informative. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. This is Gizmo Joe, signing off.